Good evening, and welcome to another gentle story here on Eternal Sleep Story. Tonight we will travel into a quiet kingdom, a place wrapped in starlight and softened by the hush of night. This is the story of a kind young woman known to the world as Cinderella. But tonight we will tell her story slowly, gently, with pauses, so that you may drift, little by little, into a place of rest. So, allow yourself to relax. Let your body feel heavy. Let your breathing become calm and steady, in and out, like the rhythm of the ocean, like the rise and fall of the stars. And now, imagine a kingdom long ago, far away, a kingdom where tall forests stood in silence, where rivers moved like silver ribbons in the moonlight, and where, at the edge of the land, stood an old manor house. Inside that house lived Cinderella. Her name was given to her because she so often sat near the fireplace, covered in gentle ashes, the soft dust of the cinders. Cinderella was gentle, she was patient, and she carried kindness in her heart. Her days were filled with work, sweeping the floors, caring for the fire, cooking simple meals, and tending to the garden, where small birds often landed near her hands, trusting her as if they too could feel the warmth of her spirit. But Cinderella was not alone in the house. Her father had passed away, and she lived now with her stepmother and her two stepsisters. They were not cruel in a loud way, but in a quiet way, in the way they overlooked her and demanded from her more than they would do themselves when dresses needed mending. Cinderella was called. When shoes needed polishing, Cinderella was called. When the fire grew cold at night, Cinderella was called. And yet, through it all, she did not complain. Her heart remained gentle. She found joy in small moments, like the golden glow of dawn, the song of sparrows, the way a candle's flame flickered softly in the night. Sometimes, in the quiet of evening, she would sit by the window. The world outside would be calm. The sky would be heavy with stars, and she would let her mind drift toward dreams of something more. Not riches, not jewels, not grand castles, but simply a life where she was seen and cherished for the goodness she carried inside. One evening, as the stars began to gather, a messenger arrived in the village. He carried a scroll, and he spoke with a voice that carried excitement. The king's son, the young prince of the kingdom, was to hold a grand ball. Every maiden in the land was invited to come to the castle, to walk the great halls, to dance beneath the glow of countless candles. The news spread quickly, and in Cinderella's house, her stepmother and stepsisters were filled with delight. They began to plan their dresses. They spoke of jewels and ribbons. They laughed and dreamed aloud, while Cinderella sat quietly nearby, her hands folded, her heart whispering a soft hope that maybe, just maybe, she too could go. But when she spoke, when she asked, her stepmother smiled a thin smile. "You go to the ball? No, my dear, you have nothing to wear and far too much work to do." And so, her stepsisters laughed, and Cinderella lowered her gaze and said nothing more. Yet inside, the dream did not die. It rested there, like a quiet flame, waiting for the night to come. As the days passed, Cinderella continued her chores, but now each task was touched with a quiet anticipation. She swept the floors, and with each brush of the broom, she imagined the soft carpet of the castle hall beneath her feet. She carried water from the well, and with each careful step, she pictured the glittering chandeliers reflecting in the polished marble, casting soft lights all around. In the garden, she tended to the flowers, the roses, the daisies, the tiny lavender, and she whispered to them as if sharing her secret dream that soon she might dance beneath the stars, not just in her mind, but in the grand hall of the palace itself. But the night before the ball, Cinderella's heart felt heavy, for her stepmother had prepared extra chores, and it seemed impossible that she could ever leave the house. She washed the windows, she polished the silver, she folded the linens, and still there were more tasks, as if the world wished to keep her bound in quiet servitude. Yet, as the moon rose and the house grew silent, a soft light appeared at the edge of the room. A gentle voice whispered, "Cinderella." And there, standing with a warm smile, was her fairy godmother. She moved slowly, deliberately, her hands waving softly, casting sparks of light that shimmered like the morning dew. "Do not be afraid, my dear," she said in a voice that was soft and calm. "Tonight, you shall go to the ball." Cinderella's eyes widened, her breath caught, and yet her heart remained gentle, still unsure if this was real. The fairy godmother touched her shoulder, and suddenly, with a soft shimmer, Cinderella's ragged dress transformed. Silks and satins fell gracefully, with colors like moonlight and the blush of dawn. A pair of slippers appeared, made of glass, transparent and delicate, yet sparkling with the soft glow of 1,000 tiny stars. Cinderella reached out, and the slippers fit her feet perfectly. She felt light, as if she could float, as if the chores, the ash, the quiet sadness had all been lifted away. "Go now," whispered the fairy godmother. "Dance, and remember, return before the clock strikes midnight." Cinderella nodded softly, her heart fluttering, and yet she walked to the carriage that awaited her, drawn from a pumpkin, glimmering with golden light. The horses, gentle and strong, waited patiently, as if they knew her gentle heart, as if they would carry her not just to the castle, but into a dream. And as the carriage rolled through the quiet village, past the sleeping houses, past the whispering trees, Cinderella felt the wind on her face, soft and warm, and she imagined the grand hall with its tall windows and golden chandeliers and music that flowed like a slow river through the entire room. When she arrived, the castle was quiet at first, but soon guests began to gather, and the soft murmur of conversations and the gentle laughter filled the air. Cinderella stepped into the hall, and immediately all eyes turned. Yet instead of fear, she felt a quiet calm. Her heart beat gently, and her steps were light, as if she were already floating, carried by the music itself. The prince, noticing her, approached slowly, offering a hand. And in that moment, time seemed to soften, the world around them slowing to the gentle rhythm of their hearts. And as they danced, the music wrapped around them, the chandeliers swaying slightly, the walls bathed in the soft golden glow. Cinderella felt a quiet happiness that she had never known before, a peace that lingered softly, like the echo of a gentle lullaby. And as the night deepened, the clock's hands began to move, slowly, ticking toward midnight, reminding Cinderella that her dream, as real as it felt, would soon return her to her quiet home. As the night carried on, Cinderella continued to dance, each step gentle, each movement soft, as if her body were floating on clouds. The music, a slow, flowing melody, wrapped around the hall, touching each corner with warmth and carrying whispers of calm, like the wind rustling softly through trees. The prince smiled at her quietly, not with loud excitement, but with a gentle admiration, as though he saw the kindness in her heart, the quiet patience, the soft light that surrounded her. Cinderella felt her cheeks warm, but she did not rush. She let the music guide her, and let each step follow the rhythm of her calm heartbeat. Around them, other dancers moved, but their motions were distant, like shadows. And all the while, Cinderella and the prince seemed to exist in a gentle world of their own. Time flowed slowly, and the world outside the castle slipped quietly into the night, the moon rising higher, casting silver light upon the gardens, where flowers nodded in the gentle breeze, and where the night creatures stirred softly. Cinderella's heart was full of a peaceful joy, one that did not shout, but hummed quietly, like a lullaby, wrapping her in warmth and safety. But soon, the soft sound of the clock echoed through the hall, tick, 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 reminding her of the promise she had made to leave before the stroke of midnight. She smiled gently at the prince, her eyes soft, her hand slipping from his, and without a word, she moved toward the grand exit, her glass slippers catching the light, sparkling like tiny stars. With every careful step, the prince watched, his heart filled with a quiet longing, and though she was leaving, he understood that this night was a moment that would linger forever in the gentle memory of both their hearts. As Cinderella reached the carriage, the fairy godmother appeared, her smile warm and soft, and with a gentle wave, she lifted the carriage into the moonlit path, ready to carry Cinderella safely home. The journey back was peaceful, the horses moving slowly, the carriage rolling quietly over cobblestone streets, the night wrapped around them like a soft blanket. When Cinderella returned home, all was silent. The house slept under the gentle watch of the stars, and she slipped quietly into her room, feeling the soft warmth of the night linger in her heart. Yet, one of her slippers had remained behind, left upon the steps of the palace, a small token of the gentle magic that had carried her through the night. The next morning, the kingdom buzzed softly as the prince began his search, not with anger, not with hurry, but with patience and the quiet hope that he would find the gentle maiden whose heart had touched his own. Cinderella awoke slowly, feeling the soft glow of dawn on her face, the memory of the ball still shimmering in her mind. Like a gentle dream, she dressed carefully. Her chores awaited, but her heart carried a secret warmth, a quiet joy that she could carry with her through every sweep of the broom, every gentle step in the garden, every small act of kindness in her home. Days passed, and the prince continued his gentle search, traveling softly through the villages, trying the glass slipper on every maiden, with care, not rushing, but with patience, as if the world itself whispered that the right person would be found. And so, Cinderella continued her quiet life, never knowing exactly when the prince would arrive, but always carrying the memory of that gentle, magical night where kindness and patience had led her into a world of soft wonder. And in those quiet moments, she dreamed again of dancing, of laughter, of gentle lights, and the warmth of being seen. For the soft heart she carried, morning sunlight filtered softly through the windows, casting warm stripes across the floor. Cinderella rose slowly, stretching gently, feeling the quiet stillness of her room. She moved through her chores, but this morning there was a calm, a quiet sense of possibility, as if the world itself had paused for her. Outside, the birds sang slowly, their notes floating lazily through the garden, and the flowers seemed to lean toward her, as if recognizing the gentle magic that lingered in her presence. Meanwhile, the prince's search continued. He traveled softly through towns, and with each maiden he visited, he spoke gently, trying the delicate glass slipper. Carefully, slowly, each attempt brought patience, but not disappointment, because he understood that the right moment, the right person, would appear when the world was ready. Back at home, Cinderella went about her quiet tasks, folding linens, preparing meals, tending the hearth, yet her mind drifted off into the soft memory of the ball, to the music, to the gentle feeling of being seen. Sometimes she closed her eyes and imagined dancing beneath the moonlight with the chandeliers sparkling and the prince's hand in hers, guiding her slowly through each soft step. Then, one gentle morning, there was a knock at the door, soft and careful, and a small messenger appeared, bearing a scroll tied with a ribbon. Cinderella took the scroll, her hands trembling slightly, and unrolled it slowly, reading the words written in delicate script. The message spoke of a search, of a slipper, and of a prince seeking the gentle maiden whose heart had touched his own. Cinderella's breath caught, and for a long moment she sat quietly, letting the words sink in, feeling the slow, soft thrill of hope and the gentle pulse of anticipation. She moved to the mirror, her reflection calm, yet aware of the quiet change within, the soft courage that had grown from kindness and patience. And as the day continued, she prepared herself, not with hurry, not with stress, but with careful, gentle steps, selecting a simple dress, one that reflected the quiet light of her heart, and brushing her hair, slowly, letting the moment unfold. When the prince arrived, the glass slipper in his hand, Cinderella's heart fluttered, but she did not rush. She allowed the moment to breathe and expand, to unfold like a slow, gentle sunrise. The slipper fit her foot perfectly, and a soft smile spread across both their faces as they recognized that the long wait had led them to this quiet perfection. And so, Cinderella and the prince walked together, hand in hand, through the soft light of the afternoon, their steps gentle, their hearts calm, and the world around them seemed to move in harmony. The days that followed were gentle and quiet. Cinderella moved through her home, now with a soft glow upon her face and a gentle peace within her heart. She no longer worried about chores or about being overlooked because she carried the memory of the ball and the gentle understanding that kindness and patience always find their way. In the castle, the prince welcomed her slowly, without hurry, letting each moment settle and savoring the calm joy of their meeting. They walked through the gardens, where flowers nodded slowly and the birds sang soft, sweet melodies, their tunes wrapping the air like a warm, comforting blanket. Cinderella laughed softly, her voice like the gentle tinkling of silver bells, and the prince smiled, his own laughter gentle, like the quiet ripple of water over smooth stones. Evenings were calm. They watched the sunset, painting the sky in shades of rose and lavender, and the stars slowly appeared, twinkling softly, as if honoring the quiet magic of this peaceful union. And in the nights, they danced slowly in the quiet hall, each step measured, each movement deliberate, allowing the calm music to carry them like leaves drifting on a slow river. The palace, once so grand and imposing, now felt warm and gentle, as if it had learned to breathe softly, in tune with the gentle hearts that now walked its halls. Cinderella no longer sat near ashes, but still cherished the small moments of simplicity, of quiet care, and of gentle joy, for she understood that happiness is soft and often comes slowly. And so she and the prince spent their days wrapped in a gentle rhythm of love, of peace, and quiet wonder. As time moved on, Cinderella grew more confident in her quiet strength, each day flowing gently, like the slow stream near her childhood home. She remembered the nights by the window, watching stars, dreaming softly, and she smiled, knowing those dreams had guided her to this place of calm and light. The prince continued to walk beside her, slowly, patiently, cherishing the softness of her presence, the gentle courage within her, and the warm kindness she carried. Together, they wandered through fields where wildflowers swayed in the gentle breeze, and the sunlight softly touched every leaf, every petal, illuminating the world with a quiet brilliance. They often returned to the quiet palace hall, where music flowed gently, and every step, every glance felt like a tender melody. Cinderella sometimes thought of her stepsisters and her stepmother, not with anger, but with understanding, for she had learned that kindness always begins with the heart, and even those who seem harsh can change in time. At night, she would rest, feeling the soft weight of contentment and drifting into dreams where the moonlight and stars danced slowly around her peaceful heart, and the kingdom witnessed her quiet joy, the gentle influence of one soft heart, spreading warmth through every corridor, every home, every garden. Cinderella had discovered that the most lasting magic is not in glittering shoes or grand balls, but in the soft patience, the quiet courage, and the gentle love one carries within. The final days of the story were calm and serene, filled with the quiet joy of fulfillment and the gentle rhythm of daily life. Cinderella and the prince walked slowly, hand in hand, through the palace gardens, where soft breezes carried the scent of roses, and the birds sang lullabies that seemed meant for sleep. They rested beneath a great oak tree, its branches swaying gently, and the sunlight filtered softly through its leaves, casting moving patterns on the ground and on their calm, smiling faces. Cinderella reflected on all that had passed, the quiet trials, the gentle moments of hope, and the soft magic that had led her here. She understood now that life itself is like a gentle story, best savored slowly, with patience and a kind heart. And as night fell, the castle grew quiet, the chandeliers dimmed their light, and the stars shone softly above, illuminating the kingdom with a calm, gentle glow. Cinderella and the prince sat together, watching the moon rise, its silver light reflecting softly on their faces, and she felt a deep, enduring peace, a warm contentment, and a gentle joy. The story, though ending here, would live softly in the hearts of all who listened to the quiet rhythm of patience, the gentle magic of kindness, and the serene power of a calm heart. And now, as you drift into your own sleep, may your dreams be soft and gentle, like the quiet steps of Cinderella through her peaceful night, and may your heart carry a warm, enduring light through the quiet hours of rest. Good night, and sleep well.